Our attention turns to girls soccer this week on Sports Talk, and with all three McKinney ISD teams off to blazing starts, we catch up with their progress before district play begins in 2 weeks' time. Hello and welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Tyler Sloan. McKinney High won District 17 4A last season, and even though they move up to a daunting 10-5A district, head coach Alex Pantarotto is here to explain why he still expects great results from his young squad. One of those daunting teams is McKinney Boyd. Their head coach Michelle Estes joins us to talk about how her team can return to state glory of 2 years ago. And in 17 4A, McKinney North are heavy favorites to win the district. Later, the Lady Bulldogs coach Lance Lavelle gives us the inside scoop on why. It's another jam-packed edition of Sports Talk, and it starts now. Things are going good right now for the McKinney Lionettes and their coach Alex Pantarotto for the McKinney girls soccer team. And coach, thanks again for joining us today. I appreciate you coming. So far you haven't played necessarily as many games as the other McKinney schools have. You've played a very restricted schedule. Of course, you did have a game canceled, but only 5 games so far. But you haven't lost any of them. You're 4 wins and 1 draw. How have the early games met your expectations?
So far, we've been playing very well. When I put the season together, of course, after the Frisco tournament, we tried to have like a week off because it takes a toll on us. And we usually have 2 or 3 or 4 injuries on that tournament because of the amount of minutes that these starters play. And it's a good opportunity to play others, but at the same time, we play to win. So, and the girls did it. I mean, they play very well. The only reason we were not in the gold final is because of a couple of goals that we did not score. Not that we got scored on, because we didn't get scored a goal. But we went to the silver championship because of that, because Wakeland and Westlake, they score 5 goals versus we scored 4. So. During those games, I allowed some of the players that don't play that much to play. So my expectation was that I wanted to play within the system and not so much about the score, you know.
Last year, you were able to win your district in 4A, and then you lost in the second round to Creekview. The players that were in that game, what did they take out of that loss in the playoffs last year to try and motivate them for this year and to make a similar playoff push?
Well, we were definitely the better team that day. However, you don't deserve goals, you got to score the goals. We were very unfortunate that we got scored on a free kick that the ball rebounded on one of our defenders' legs. And that was the only goal of the game. However, what I did notice was that at the last 15 minutes of the game, we had no more legs. So this year, I told him that being in shape is going to be critical. So when we arrive to playoffs, that we are going to be competitive. Of course, now with 5A, we see teams that are a lot deeper in terms of the amount of athletes participating. So that's an advantage for them. We still kind of like a 4A school playing 5A. But we will be competitive. I just right now I want to see if I can arrive to playoffs without serious injuries. You know, that you say, wow, I lost this player or I lost that player. You know, so.
Every team needs, that senior leader to kind of help the team keep organized and move forward. Natalie Thornberry is your senior up front that has 5 goals this year. She leads the team in goals, and she's really been getting it done early on. Why is Natalie such a good player, and why is she so effective up front?
Well, I think the system that we play is a very friendly system where we share the ball a lot, but I also have to rely on the seniority of Lizzie Navarrete, Tony Badali. Those three players with Natalie, I think they know what they want on the field, so they push the other girls to do the right things, you know.
You have a lot of young players as well that have integrated themselves into a squad and found some early success, like Sarah Morris, for instance. She's a sophomore. Lauren Neely as well. They've both scored some goals already. Very balanced, you know, goal scoring and sharing with the ball with assists. Why are the underclassmen able to play so well with the upperclassmen as well?
Well, since I've been coaching at McKinney, I always felt that the integration of young players is very important for the success, for the future success of the team, because they will know what system we play. We haven't changed the system. We still play within the same system. So the integration of those freshmen, it's a lot easier because the system is friendly and because that's what we've been playing. So as they come into sophomores, they already know what the expectation is in terms of the style of soccer that we play.
You're a very possession-oriented team, and you like to really pass the ball around and move it around and keep it from the other team, and that's why a lot of your games are low scoring. Why do you take up that philosophy rather than let's send the ball forward and try and, you know, get a couple of loose balls and really try and sprint forward and not necessarily worry about keeping the ball so much?
Well, there is a cultural factor that I'm from South America, I'm from Argentina, and we have the tendency of treating the ball very well. The second thing is that I wanted a system where everybody participates. Sometimes you see teams that kick the ball very hard from the back to the forwards, and the midfielders, all I see is the ball going, you know, like a missile. Mm-hmm. That's not my intention. I think I want all of them to feel part of the game and feel part of the system that we play. And that's the reason I expect most of them to touch the ball at any given time. We scored a very nice goal again this year, and it was against Frisco Heritage, and where several players touched the ball, 1-2 touch, and they arrive all the way to the box and cross it backwards, and somebody finished the ball. And I think it reminds me of that goal that we scored against Allen last year, which also show the possession play that we develop. I know that when I see these girls playing like that, I get goosebumps, and at the same time, they feel participants of the game because they get to touch the ball. They need to be part of any play.
Let's take a look at, you know, we have some highlights from, you know, the beautiful style that you play, where it's, you know, very passing oriented. You know, sort of like a couple of the teams that we watch, you know, on the television that you see, the Barcelonas that are, you know, the big teams in the world. They play that similar style where they have a lot of South American players, especially in Spanish players that are in their team, and they just like to thread those little passes in between and find, you know, holes that, you know, we seem like it's impossible to find.
Yeah, and that's what the style is. It's a friendly style because we try not to give the ball away, number one. But I think also we want, like I said, we want our girls to participate. We want everybody to touch the ball and not to give the ball away, because when you give the ball away, now the opponent has it and now they can hurt you. So that's why we base our scheme, you know.
Looking ahead in the schedule, they have a big game tomorrow against McKinney North. Talked to Coach Lovell earlier about this game. It's a big rivalry game. You're not in the same district anymore, but that same intensity is still there.
Yes, every time we face each other, I think we have a very tough game. We've been successful, and they have been successful. We were trying to remember when was the last time they beat us on a regular in a regular game, and I couldn't remember that. So it's always a lot of fun for them to play.
looking ahead to the district schedule, you're in a district this year which has the last two 5A state champions, Plano West and McKinney Boyd. And McKinney being the team that has the least amount of students enrolled at their school, and some of these schools have 5,000 plus students. Is it a little bit daunting of a task to come into this district and still try and make the playoffs?
Well, I think initially we can think about that, but I'm very proud of my girls, and I think they are prepared to elevate themselves and play 5A schools. And I know that we don't have the depth that other schools have, but if you got a team that I want to coach, is this team. I'm a true Lion. I've been with the school for 19 years, and I'm very proud of the work that we put. In fact, when I started, we probably had 13, 14 girls, and now we have 19. It's not like we had a huge amount of growth in terms of the amount of players. However, we have more competitive players now than we used to. The 2005 state champion was a team that had a lot of ganas, a lot of strength. They wanted to win. And I think this team is getting like that, especially knowing that they're going to go play some big schools. So there are no more schools that we play that you're going to go in thinking, oh, we're going to score 7, 8 goals on this. Every game is going to be a challenge. And I think psychologically these girls are getting prepared for that.
I think also psychologically, the fact that you played 3 of the teams that are in your district this year, you played them last year when you're still in 4A, and you beat Allen, as you said, and
right.
You had 2 close games against Plano and Plano East,
right.
So the confidence must be there with your team.
I think so. I think so. We still have to play every single game, but I think the girls, at least they see that we can go beat those teams, and I think that's very important, because when you go into a game knowing that you have no chance, it's a different kind of game. You don't play to the best of your abilities. Now that we have a chance, we really feel that we can play together and be successful.
I wanted to end our talk with this, and recently I read that from the age 12 to 24, the second most popular sport here in the United States is soccer. And some of the older generation, they might, the traditional sports of football and baseball and basketball are really the popular ones, but soccer has really grown, especially among this young group of people like the ones you're coaching right now. Why has soccer, become such a popular sport among this age group?
That's a long question. I think there is a change of culture also in the United States, where we see more people from different backgrounds where are influenced by soccer. Also, it's a sport that doesn't require a lot of equipment, although nowadays a uniform is very expensive. But you really need a soccer ball to play. You don't need any other expensive equipment.
That's right.
Baseball gloves or bats or helmets, and just put some clothes and play. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Although I feel that we're getting somewhat in a saturation point right now in the amount of money that parents are spending to play competitive soccer, which nowadays, high school setting, it's a lot better, I think, for parents, because first of all, it's free. Second of all, most coaches now are coaches that have played the game. Well, in the past, they just put some football coach or some volleyball coach to coach these girls. So now you have a lot of experienced coaches coaching your daughters, and sons and daughters, and I think that has a lot to do with the success of the sport. I wish parents realize that we have the perfect setting at high school, because we get to practice 5 days a week. We get to, I know we have only one season, but we have a weight training that you do not have in high school. And that's something that, it has helped, I think, together with the club environment has helped to make better athletes. But I do think that there is a cultural aspect also of the amount of foreigners that came into the United States, and all of a sudden they want their kids to play soccer, you know. So
definitely, Coach Pantarotto, it's been a pleasure. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation.
The McKinney girls soccer, they also, like McKinney North, are undefeated this year. No losses in the loss column. They'll try and keep it that way through the last few non-district games. Of course, the big battle with McKinney North coming up tomorrow, and then into district play in 10-5A.